we started talking about the Sunday night game between the Steelers and the Ravens. Took the Steelers' point of view right off the bat because you always talk about the winners usually, unless it's the Cowboys. Then we'll talk about them first, right?
That's a fact.
Let's talk Ravens. Certainly coming into this game, there was a lot of talk of which longest tenured head coach in the National Football League is going to be on the hot seat by losing. And I just don't know. Let's just put it this way. I don't think the game went down in a way that could be pinned on a coach by a decision or anything like that. Out of anybody that could have potentially had anything pinned on him based on decisions made in the game last night, it would be Tomlin deciding to go for it from the 1 yard line before halftime rather than taking the 3 points. I did like the decision at the time, didn't like the play call.
Same.
I think Jason Garrett said during halftime he liked the play call until he saw what defense the Ravens were showing. And then of all people to, I guess, pin on to not change the play was Aaron Rodgers saying they should have checked out of it. But long story short, other than just the offense falling asleep between quarters 1 and 4, allowing the Steelers to play catch up and then eventually take the lead, that is something that I think is part and parcel of a Ravens season that wound up being very frustrating. Didn't help that Lamar went out of the hamstring injury, as we're now dissecting or CSIing the Ravens season here. And the decision to go with Cooper Rush as the backup quarterback lasted just one game. We were all wondering if that was a fit. If Lamar went down, Cooper Rush is so not Lamar that you'd have to change things up. Snoop Huntley brought in, and obviously he performed well enough. They beat the Bears.
Yeah.
The Ravens did.
Huge game.
And, Snoop, as we know, also beat the Packers in Green Bay with Malik Willis looking more like Lamar than Lamar did all season long until the fourth quarter of this football game. And there was also that Sunday night loss to the Patriots that sticks out because Derrick Henry didn't touch the football in the final throws of that game. And, Harbaugh and Todd Monken, the offensive coordinator, responded by giving Henry the ball 36 times in Green Bay, and he wound up rewarding them with 216 yards and 4 touchdowns and an opportunity to win the division just by, at the end of the day, everything that I just recounted, starting with the Sunday night opener in Buffalo when the Ravens put up 40 and lost in a game that they had dead to rights until, of all people, Derrick Henry fumbled, flipping the script. The Ravens starting off stubbing their toe like that, able to win 5 in a row and dig out of that hole, only to suffer more inconsistent play and losing back-to-back home games in a span of 5 days to Aaron Rodgers and Joe Burrow on a Thanksgiving night, is just something that Ravens fans are going to have stuck in their craw. And now the question is, what next? Because they do have an incredible roster. I mean, you look at their team and you're wondering, how did they finish below 500? I just gave you some reasons. And do you pin that on a coach who otherwise is burnishing a Hall of Fame resume? And I know Ravens fans might not want to hear that. There is some maybe fatigue of having the same things materialize in fourth quarters and in, Januaries, and with the exception of one February day in New Orleans, winding up short. And John Harbaugh was asked after the game about his future.
It's disappointing. It's disappointing. I think our guys fought. We were that close to winning the North, and we didn't get a chance to get it done. So all that other stuff is history. Had a chance to do it. We didn't do it. We're disappointed, and we'll move on.
I mean, it just happened, but are you feeling like you want another shot with these guys?
Yeah, I love these guys. I love these guys.
You know, and for the radio audience, there was a furrowing of the brow from John Harbaugh listening to that question before answering it. The body language being, are you asking if I want to quit being the Baltimore Ravens head coach? You know, or are you asking me if I'm worried about my job? And if you're asking that, you didn't ask me that directly, so I'll turn down answering that directly and just say, of course I want to be with these guys. I love them. What are you inferring? You know, and the question is, at the end of the day, what does the owner think? And I don't have any inkling of what's going on inside Steve Bisciotti's head other than the fact that the guy likes continuity, obviously, and that the teams that don't have a shot at the Super Bowl are the ones that churn through head coaches and churn through front offices. And I understand at some point the Ravens would like to see some churn in terms of results.
4 playoff wins in the last 13 seasons.
And so the question is what do you do now? I don't think the Ravens are going to do a damn thing with John Harbaugh. And if they did, I think one of the 6 teams that's currently going through a coaching cycle would be all over him in 2 seconds flat. And so, you know, because I know when my end of the collegiate world was going through it a couple of weeks ago, looking for a coach, there was a lot of Michigan friends of mine were like, would John Harbaugh do it? I'm like, let the man finish the season before you even ask, would you want to do something your brother did? I don't think so. I think he's in a spot that he wants to be. And that's his answer. Now, the quarterback's a different story in terms of the answer he gave in the first blush moments of losing in heartbreaking fashion. Listen to this exchange that's been resonating all since the words came out of Lamar's mouth.
This offseason, there's a lot of questions about your contract, your salary cap number. Do you feel you'll be back as the Ravens quarterback next season?
We just lost a game, a divisional game, a game to put us in the playoffs. I'm not even thinking about that right now, to be honest with you. I'm still caught up in what just happened, That's not my focus right now.
There's a lot of questions about Harbaugh's future as well. Do you want to see John remain the coach next year?
You asking me about next year, Jameson. Like, I'm so caught up in what just happened tonight. I can't focus on that right now. I just told you. Like, he asked me, "Are you stunned?" I'm stunned right now. I'm still trying to process what's going on. Like, I know we lost, but what the
I think he almost went WTF right there. And to his defense, if you will, he was still steaming about the loss long after. I don't know if you caught this exchange. Did you see this one? Where Jason McCourty had a screen grab of Ben Skoranek, their Steelers' stellar special teams player, seemingly using the backs of his teammates as leverage to try and block the eventual game-winning field goal that was missed. And Lamar reposted that with SMFH, not to go all Kurt Signetti on you, but Google it. So he was still steaming afterwards. Yeah. But the question of, listen, let's just put it this way. Let's say we are fortunate enough to be Emmy-nominated again, right? In the running for the ultimate prize that you search for in our business, right? Other than just success and happiness working, right?
Right.
You're looking for the accolade.
Sure.
Let's just say we get nominated again and don't win it again. So let's just say that happens. And you then say to me, do I want to, you come up to me within 5 minutes of losing. Okay. Let's just say I had a press conference.
Okay.
You ask me if I want to still be the host of the Rich Eisen Show. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Rich, I know heartbreaking loss, and again at the hands of the Emmy board.
Yeah.
You still want to be the host of the Rich Eisen Show? You still want to keep doing this?
Of course I do. What are you talking about? See how that works?
Right.
Now, ask it again, and I'll give the answer similar to what Lamar just gave.
Yeah, Rich, another heartbreaking defeat here at the Sports Emmys. Seemed to be a tradition that's taken place. You still want to be the host of the Rich Eisen Show?
I just lost again to that show
and that guy.
and that host.
Right, that other host.
I just sat through 4 hours of sitting in the back of this room waiting for the awards where they don't serve you anything to eat or drink. You're sitting back there. You don't have any Wi-Fi connection. It goes in and out. You're like sitting here thinking, this is the heart of New York City. You can't give me a Wi-Fi connection? And I'm still going for what the... just give me a minute. You see the difference?
Yeah, I feel unemployed.
Sorry, Jay.
Do you see the difference? That's a difference.
Yeah, but
Now, again, Lamar is he's a unicorn. There's very, very few people like Lamar, and he can potentially compartmentalize that sort of thing without realizing if you don't give an immediate answer of like what Joe Burrow did, remember a few weeks ago, where he gave a cryptic answer about being happy there, and then he was asked point blank, do you see yourself as anything other than the Bengals quarterback next season? No, I don't see it. Of course, I don't see not being here. He's like, give me a minute before I answer the question about whether I'm going to be here or not. Sometimes you don't need a minute. Do you see the difference between John Harbaugh's answer and the quarterback's answer? Now, again, I'm just pointing out why this is going to linger. And I'm just wondering if we're entering a period of time where Lamar wants a contractual enhancement or something similar. And we're going to be in another spring of wondering about their relationship. We already spent the last time we went through this, Snoop Huntley late season start, wondering where Lamar is under center. We just spent that week hearing all sorts of stuff about Lamar falling asleep in meetings, which he pushed back against vehemently when asked. I'm just saying, I think we're going to go through that. I think we're going to go through that where John Harbaugh says nothing but love for Lamar Jackson, and he stays put. How's that for a prediction? But that answer is not going to help calm any waters.
Yeah, but he gave a perfect answer to start with. He's still in his feelings. He's like not registering what's going on. I think we sometimes hold these athletes to this regard that like they should be wordsmith like you. They can't. They're not. That's
well, but it's. I don't think it's about a choice of words. I think it's about an emotion. Right? You're saying he's too emotional to sit there and
I mean,
and tell everybody in the fan base that he's not going anywhere. You know what I mean? Again, it's a question of like, are you going to have a massive career change, seismic? And ask him that obviously in the moments that might give you a more visceral answer, not like, I can't even think about that. You understand the difference of what I'm saying? Like, I understand that, he might not have found the words, but the bottom line is he was just asked, are you going to be here? And he's just like, I can't think about that right now. And the answer to that is, what's there to think about?
If he was designated as a post-June 1st trade,
oh, gosh,
saves the Ravens $52 million against the cap.
I get it.
Just saying.
I hear you. And we're not going to be in another situation of like, who wouldn't want him? Of course, everyone's going to want him.
Yeah, but we said that last time too, and apparently nobody.
Well, it was also 2 firsts that would cost.
Just saying.
Even though that just got flipped for Sauce Gardner. And I think people would probably use it on Lamar more than a corner.
Sauce Gardner, who won 2 games this year.
Oh, my gosh.
That's true.
Again, it just strikes me as like it's a simple question that at its heart is like, John Harbaugh was asked it, do you want another shot at being the coach here? And he's just sort of like, of course, I love these guys. Not like, you're just asking me in a really difficult moment a question about my future. If John had given the same answer as the quarterback, this would be a massive alarm fire right now in Baltimore.
Rich, pretty tough dinner situation at your house. Seemed you and the wife got into it a little bit. You still want to be married tomorrow?
You don't ask me now. I'm still upset about dinner. You see what I mean?
It's like the "Do you love me?" in any breakup. Yes, of course. But
I don't know.
Nothing?
Me?
Yeah.
I've already.
No, I know you said you
spoke my. What I thought.
Okay. But again, the answer is Lamar is definitely he definitely is wired differently. He's 100% wired differently. And so, like I said, that's why the first thing I showed you before setting up the question about it was him being upset about the leverage penalty that apparently could have been called to wipe off that missed field goal. Similar to the way Denver lost in Indianapolis this year. At the time, us thinking that would cost Denver a 1 seed against Indianapolis and yada, yada, yada. Denver got the 1 seed because the week 1 loss to the Raiders cost the Patriots.
Embarrassing.
Okay.
Hey, you made it all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Check us out every single day streaming live on Disney Plus and the ESPN app 12 to 3 Eastern.